Hi everyone, Alan from Newlands Nursery. Hope you are well and welcome to today's 5-Minute Friday. Now, it's overcast, it's a bit cold in here, so if I shiver you'll know why. But this video focuses on something you can do in the garden, probably not in the garden, probably in the conservatory or maybe in a greenhouse. This time of year, that's nice and easy and makes all the difference. And today we are sowing chive seeds. It might seem a little bit strange sowing seeds this late in the year, but the reality is you get a head start. It makes all the difference. There's lots of jobs in the garden. If you get a head start, the plants are that much more established, and with something like a chive, we can pick them earlier. Plus you'll get flowers as well, and they're edible flowers, which is always good. So I've got what I need here. You can use a pot. I'm using a cell tray. Got a little drip tray there as well. The key is drainage, and that's the case with so many stuff you grow from seed. Drainage is key, so make sure there's holes in your pots, your cell tray, or whatever you're using. A good quality compost as well, so I'm going to fill this almost all the way to the top with some compost. So something to note with your compost, make sure that drains as well. You don't want claggy, is the word I'm going to use, claggy compost, something that holds on to too much moisture. So a seed or cutting compost is fine. I'm using a good quality multi-purpose compost, which I know works for these. It's not too rich, so you want to avoid rich compost, and by that I mean with loads and loads of feed in it. So I've filled it virtually all the way to the top and give it a bit of a tap. That will sink down and get rid of any air gaps. I'm sure if you've watched any of our videos, you'll notice I do that for pretty much everything. Because we're sowing, we want to make sure there's any big lumps of bark or any fibrous stuff you want to make sure have gone, just because it just makes it easier to deal with. So turn the attention to our seed. So I've got some really good quality chive seed here. Now, there is a difference in quality of seed, so you want fresh seed that's been packed relatively recently. And I'm going to pour some on my hand. Now, I often pour seeds onto a tray or a plate or something like that. So my hand works really well for these because they're black seeds. So they are from the onion family. If you ever used onion seed on bread or anything like that, it looks exactly the same. So what I'm going to do with something like chives, we're not going to sow one seed per cell or per pot. We're going to aim for several. Because as you can imagine, the way you use chive, it almost comes up like a grass. And the way you use it is you cut a bunch off and then use it. So you want to be able to do that. One seed per cell or per pot isn't going to work. So what I do is lay it on my hand like that. They are quite small seeds, but because we're aiming for, in a cell this size, maybe about 8 or so seeds. If we were going for a 9 centimetre pot, maybe about 15 or so seeds. And I just literally sprinkle them around the centre of the cell. You won't really be able to see this on the compost because it's basically the same colour, but that's all we do until I've used up the seed that I've got in my hand. So I can't tell you exactly where I'm getting about 8 in there. It really doesn't matter. So we're going to plant these out at a later date. So chives can almost be grown like a vegetable. So you could grow them in rows. If you use a lot of chives, I'm thinking like cheese and chives on a jacket potato or something. You can walk out to the garden, cut a row of chives, and they're really, really easy to use. So once we've done the sowing, we've just placed it on the surface of the compost. I haven't pushed it down or anything like that, just placed on the surface. Then I get some more of our compost, get rid of any big lumps, and then I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top, okay? Just like so. It's as simple as that. Nice and easy to do. So you can cover with vermiculite, or you can cover with perlite or something like that, but the compost that you've used will work perfectly fine. And that's all your sowing done. Now the best thing to do is give it a good watering. So water gently over the top and then let the water sink in until you get a nice lot of moisture in there. A good tip is, you know you've watered enough when you see water coming out the base of the pot or the cell tray. And then for this, I'm just going to cover it. Simple as that. If you're going to a pot at home, you could put a plastic bag or something like that over there. Now, chives will germinate at their best around about 18 to 21, 22 degrees, something like that. That is the average temperature of the majority of homes in this country. So it is nice and easy. Stick it on the windowsill, let it germinate. They take quite a while to begin with, but when they start germinating, you start seeing them come through, and be patient. Let them establish before you start potting them out or picking them. But if you've got any questions at all, obviously get in contact. We're here to help. See you soon.